Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you how to cut and sew a monostrap corset, and in this corset we'll also be making use of an inseam finishing. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's video. So first, here is my pattern, and I merged up the center and the side pattern, and I'll just go ahead to cut it out. When I'm cutting this, I'll be adding ½ inch all the way around, except the part going to the side because we have added the sewing allowance. Then going over to the back pattern, I'll go ahead to add ½ inch on the lower part, and I'll also add ½ inch on top, and go ahead to cut the side and the zipper side the same. So after I'm done cutting that, I'll use this also to cut out my lining, and I went ahead to cut out all my cup, and I added ½ inch all the way around. So I'll be ironing an stay to the main fabric, and on the lining of the corset I'll be ironing a gum stay to it, and after I'm done ironing I will be joining it with ½ inch. So whatever I'm doing to this pattern or to this fabric, I'll be doing it to the lining piece also. So you're going to iron stay to make the fabric more stable, and you're going to go ahead to join it with ½ inch. So here's my skirt pattern. I'll go ahead to cut the back piece before going ahead to cut out the front piece, and whatever you use in cutting out your pattern, you also place it and trace out for the lining piece of the dress. And I'll go ahead to slit this open for the zipper allowance at the center of the dress. So here's the back pattern. What I'm going to do is to mark 1.5 inches, which is my zipper allowance, and I'll just go ahead to stitch it down because I'll be needing that when I'll be shaping the dress. But after that, I'll go ahead to open it all up. So to make it more easier to sew, I'll just go ahead to use my pin to secure it, and I'll move over to the sewing machine to stitch down. I'll go ahead to cut out the front pattern, and I will be cutting out my lining also. So after I'm done cutting, here is the back pattern. So I've already gone ahead to cut out my lining on it. So just like I said earlier, you'll be using your pattern to cut out the lining, but for the lining of your dress you're going to make it shorter. So I took out 1 inch from the length of the lining, so that we'll be having a turn-up effect when we're sewing. So here is the front pattern, and I'll be creating a design on it. You can go ahead to use this to create a lacing bar area, but what we have there is more like a design. So here I cut out 1.5 inches. I'll go ahead to place, fold, and I will top stitch just like you're making a boning channel, but here will be smaller. So I'll repeat it on both sides, and I'll be creating 2 on each side. So after I'm done creating that, this is what I have, and the next step now is to go ahead to join my skirt. So I already notched the middle part of my skirt, and I'll just place this and I will stitch with ½ inch. And also go ahead to iron stay on your main fabric, which I forgot to mention. So I've already joined the lining piece, and this is what I have. So here is my cup. I've already gone ahead to join it. So I'll go ahead to create a 2 inches dart on it, and I will be adding a wording to meet up to the upper part of my cup. So for your cup, for example, if your bust 34, you'll be using 36, go ahead to create a dart intake and insert your cup. But if not, if you buy the exact bust size just like I did, you're going to go ahead to add wording on top to make the upper part of the cup firm. So I'm going to go ahead to join the back pattern of the dress, and this is what I have. So now I'll just go ahead to bring the skirt part, and I'll place, and I'll also be joining with ½ inch, and also repeat that on the lining. So just like I said, I added wording on top of my cup, and I made sure that the part that will be facing the material is the shiny part. The part that is facing my cup is the shiny part. So there are different ways of attaching a cup to a bra cup to your corset cup. You can go ahead to use a hemming gum, or you can go ahead and pin it just like I'm doing, or you can use uhu gum, a gum, and just stick your bra cup to your fabric, but make sure that it relaxes very well. Whatever method that you're using, make sure that it relaxes very well. So I'll just go ahead and keep pushing my cup and make sure it sits properly, and I'll go ahead to pin to the end or around the cup. So after pinning, I'll go ahead to sew the cup around it, and whenever you're using this pinning method, make sure that your cup is close to the main fabric, so that it's not after stitching when you're joining your cup, we'll be seeing the thread that you use in stitching down the cup separately from the joining allowance. So to join my cup, I'll go ahead and fold my fabric this way, and I will notch the center. And after notching the center, I will notch the other side also, and I will start attaching my cup. So when you're attaching your cup, if you notice that the space that you have or you cut out for your cup is smaller, you're going to go ahead to notch the body. So I'll just go ahead to pin the center of my cup at that point, and what I have here is matching, so I'll just go ahead to pin it all the way to the end. After working on this side, on the other side, when I place, I notice that it is a bit shorter. I'll just go ahead and I will notch it all the way around and place my cup. Then I'll start pinning it round. So it's very important for you to pin your cup before sewing, especially if you're not so good at attaching your cup. This will help you, and also you can notch it just like I did, so that it's going to sit very well. So after doing this, I'll repeat this on the other side, and I will attach with 1/2 inch. And on the lining, I'll also repeat this same process, and I will attach it with 1/2 inch. So after I'm done attaching my cup, this is what it looks like, as you can see, it's sitting very well. So now I'll just cut out this piece and I'll fold it with 1/2 inch on both sides. So this is about 1.5 inches, and I'll go ahead to fold it, and I will sew for both sides of my monostrap. So for each side, I made at least about 25 inches long or 20 inches long. Then just use your body measurement. If you have an excess, go ahead to cut it out. So I'll place this almost at the end of the cup, maybe 1/2 inch or 1 inch by the side of the cup, and I'll stitch with 1/2 inch on both sides. So next, we're going to go ahead to shape our dress, and I went ahead to pin my main fabric to the front part, that is the back to the front of the dress. That is after I was done attaching that. So now we're going to shape this dress before we shape our lining. So whatever you do here, you also go ahead to do it to your lining. So to add our measurements, we'll just go ahead to do our normal shaping. So to do that, I'm going to start with my hip point. I'll measure about 7 inches down. If you're tall, you'll be using 8 inches. So I'll measure here. So my hip is 40 divided by 2, I have 20. So I'll be marking 1 inch on both sides. So because this fabric is a bit stretchy, I won't be using 20 on the dot. I might be using 19 inches for the hip. So after marking that, I'll go up here at the under bust. What I have is 17 inches. My under bust circumference is 28 divided by 2, I have 14. So this 17 I have here, if you minus 14, you'll be having 3 inches. So that 3 inches, I'll divide 1.5 inches on both sides of the dress. So here I'll measure also, and what I have here is about 16 inches. My waist circumference is 28 also, divided by 2, I have 14. So taking out 14 from 16, what I'll have is 2 inches. So I'll mark that 1 inch on both sides, making it 2 inches. So here I'll place and measure my bust line, which is 9 inches. I placed my tape from my under bust. So what I have here, I should be marking 1 inch on both sides, but because it's the side of my cup and I want it to be fitted, so instead of marking 1 inch, I marked 1.5 inches. And after marking that, I'll go ahead also to connect this all the way to the lower part. So when you're connecting this, you don't want to have ear on your pattern, or like at the hip point, you don't want it to be pointy. So from here, I'll just connect and take it all the way down, mark 1.5 inches here, and I'll go ahead to stitch this up and also use the same process for the lining. So make sure that whatever you mark on the main fabric, you're also going to repeat it on the lining piece. Go ahead to place it, and you're going to be shaping it also. So after I'm done shaping, this is what I have on both sides, and I will go ahead to turn it up. So to turn this up, remember that the lining of the dress is 1 inch shorter than the dress. This is to create a turn up effect for the dress, and I'll go ahead to open up my zipper area, and I'll place the fabric on it this way. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead to pin the side. Make sure that your sides meet, and I'll pin. And this is also a way of doing an inseam finishing, so that you can make your readjustment from the zip in case the dress is big. If not, I'm just going to add I'm supposed to add my zip to the main fabric before turning it up, but I want to use this method just in case your dress is a little big. You can just readjust your zipper inwards and it's going to fit. So after that, I'll just go ahead to stitch this with 1/2 inch all the way down. So after I'm done stitching, now we're going to create that turn up effect. What you're going to do is you're going to push your lining up, and you're going to be having something like this, and make your fabric come down. So you're going to measure about 1/2 inch this way. On this part also, you're going to push your lining up a bit and make your main fabric come down by 1/2 inch, because what we took out was 1 inch on the out from the lining. So I'm going to place this way, and I'm going to go ahead to pin this all the way to the end of my dress. So before continuing, I will go ahead to mark my my slit. So you'll be using that same measurement of your zipper allowance, which is 1.5 inches. So here I came up by 6 inches, but please, if your dress is a bit short, don't use 6 inches. Mine was too open, but I would go ahead to readjust it or add fabric to it. So after that, I marked 1/2 inch on it after that 1.5 inches. So I'll be cutting this out because I don't want my slits to be showing when I'm done sewing it. Like the slit part will be open and separate on its own. So I'll just go ahead and pin this dress all the way around. So at this point, if you haven't yet subscribed, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and if you have a question, also leave it at the comment section. So after I'm done pinning, I will just go ahead to stitch with 1/2 inch. Please, when you're pinning, go ahead to open up all your seam allowances this way, so that it's going to relax very well, and make sure they match. If they don't match, make sure you readjust it to match. So just like I marked the other side, which is the 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance, I went up by 6 inches here also, and I'll be coming out by 1/2 inch. So after doing this, I'll just go ahead to cut out the rest. So this is what I mean by I want the zipper allowance to be open. Like you can see this in some dress. If you don't want to top stitch around your sleeve your slit after you're done sewing, you can just go ahead to chop this off, and you'll be sewing that all together when you're sewing this dress. So I'll cut this out, and I'll also cut the other side out, and after I'm done cutting it out, I'll head over to the sewing machine, and I'll be stitching this pattern all the way around with 1/2 inch. So after I'm done stitching with 1/2 inch, I will notch it round, and I will leave one side open, or I'll open up one side to bring out the dress to the right side. So just like I said, after I was done sewing, I'll go ahead to notch all this round. This will help the dress relax very well, especially when you're ironing it. So on one side of the dress, I went ahead to open it up, and I'll be turning my dress from that side. So after I'm done turning it, I'll just go ahead to show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like at this point, and as you can see at this side, I'll go ahead to top stitch it. So this is the inside of the dress. You can't see any seam allowance popping out outside. So here I'll just go ahead to fold my fabric this way, and I will be stitching with 1 inch. So remember we added 1.5 for our sewing allowance. You'll be stitching it down with 1 inch, and make sure that you notch the area that we have the slit so that it's also going to relax. The zipper allowance was 1.5 inches. Sewing ½ inch round, we have 1 inch left. So you're going to go ahead to fold up your dress, and you're going to be stitching it down with ½ inch at the back, and I'll also go ahead to add my zipper to the dress. After I was done sewing, you notice that the neckline is not as low as the one we have on the thumbnail, so I don't want my bust area to be too revealing, so that's why I left mine this way. So before adding zipper to the dress, this is what I have, and this is what the inside of the dress is looking like. So if you want to have a neat finishing for your dress, you can use this method. But while sewing, you have to be accurate with your measurements. So I'll just go ahead and stitch down the lower part, which I already did. So I measured 7 inches after my waistline. So if you have a bigger butt or a big bum bum, you should be considering marking 8 inches at the lower part before you fix your zipper. So this is what the front part of the dress looks like, and I'll go ahead to attach my zip, and I'll be adding this trimming or design on it. So for the back, you're just going to put on the dress and let someone help you pull it to the back, and then you can go ahead to pin it, tack it down, and place your design on it. So after I was done sewing, this is what my dress looks like. So at this point, if you haven't yet subscribed, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and join us in our next video. Thanks.